In 1974, 5 men signed a document the public was never meant to see. There was no press conference, no vote in Congress, just a handshake between Washington and Riyadh. That quiet agreement rewired the global financial system. It is the reason the US dollar became the currency behind global oil trade. For decades, almost every barrel of oil bought or sold has been priced and settled in dollars. But here's what almost nobody is telling you. That system is beginning to change, not in some distant future. Right now, in 2026. And it isn't being replaced by gold. It isn't being replaced by Bitcoin. It's being replaced by something far stranger. Electricity, somewhere in Virginia, in Texas, and in the deserts outside Abu Dhabi. A different kind of field is being built, not oil fields, power fields, massive data centers. They consume more electricity than entire cities, and they feed machines that some economists believe may become more valuable than crude oil itself. If that sounds impossible, stay with us. Because the last time the world quietly replaced one invisible source of value with another, it triggered a crisis that reshaped the global economy. Something similar may be happening again, and almost nobody is watching the right chart. To understand what is changing in 2026, you first have to understand what was built in 1974. In 1971, the United States abandoned the gold standard. That left the dollar with a problem. It was no longer backed by gold, it was backed by trust alone. So the United States made a different kind of promise. Not to its own citizens, but to the country that controlled the world's most important commodity, Saudi Arabia. The deal sounded simple. Saudi Arabia would sell its oil only in US dollars. In return, the United States would protect the kingdom. It would also recycle Saudi oil revenue through American weapons and US Treasury bonds. The consequences were enormous. Every country that needed oil suddenly needed dollars first. And every country needed oil. Japan needed dollars. Germany needed dollars. Even nations with little trade with the United States had to build reserves of American currency. Without dollars, they couldn't buy the energy that kept their economies running. This system had a name, the petrodollar. Most people never heard it, but it turned the US dollar into the operating system of the global economy. Not because the dollar was valuable on its own, but because oil was priced in dollars. For more than 50 years, the system held. It survived wars, financial crises, and the rise of the internet. But every system depends on one thing. The resource at its center must remain the most important one. And in 2026, oil is quietly beginning to lose that position. Here is the uncomfortable question that almost no financial commentator wants to ask. What if oil is no longer the world's most valuable form of work? For most of modern history, oil was more than fuel. It was stored labor. A single barrel could perform the physical work of thousands of human hours. It moved ships. It powered factories. It kept entire cities running. That is why nations fought wars over it. But in 2026, a different kind of work is emerging, and it doesn't come from a drill, it comes from a data center. Artificial intelligence is now performing tasks that once required armies of human workers. Legal research that once took a week can now take minutes. Drug discovery that once took years is being compressed into months. That is work, real work, measurable work, economically valuable work. And unlike oil, it doesn't come out of the ground. It runs on electricity. Every AI request, every model that is trained, every image that is generated, they all depend on one thing: power. Not political power, electrical power, measured in gigawatts, flowing into data centers that never sleep. Economists are beginning to notice something unusual. The countries leading the race for artificial intelligence are no longer racing for oil reserves. They are racing for electrical capacity. The foundation of the petrodollar has not disappeared. But something new is being built on top of it, and it doesn't care about barrels of oil at all. If oil fields built the 20th century, data centers are building this one. Picture the scale for a moment. A single AI training facility can consume as much electricity as a mid-sized city. Now imagine hundreds of them. New facilities are rising across the United States, across China, and across the Gulf states. Suddenly, it becomes clear why governments are treating power grids the way they once treated pipelines. This is where the comparison to 1973 becomes impossible to ignore. Before the oil crisis, oil was treated as cheap and almost unlimited. Nobody planned for scarcity. Then OPEC restricted supply. Oil prices quadrupled. Almost overnight, the world discovered that its economy had been built on an assumption that was no longer true. Something similar is happening in 2026. This time it's happening with electricity. For decades, power was treated as a background utility, something that was always there. Now AI companies are signing energy contracts that last for decades. They are buying entire nuclear power plants. Some are even building private power stations, all to guarantee electricity. Why does this matter to the dollar? Because value always flows toward whatever produces the most output. For half a century, that was a barrel of oil. Now it's becoming a kilowatt hour powering a server rack. Countries with cheap and abundant electricity are becoming the new power brokers, not the countries with the biggest oil reserves. Iceland has its geothermal energy. The Gulf states are investing oil wealth into massive solar and nuclear projects. Even parts of the American power grid are becoming strategic assets. Much like pipelines once were, oil fields built empires. Power fields are building something the old financial system was never designed to measure. This brings us to a theory that is quietly spreading among energy economists and sovereign wealth strategists. Some are calling it the energy standard. The idea is simple. As artificial intelligence becomes central to military planning, scientific research, and economic growth, the measure of a nation's power begins to change. It is no longer just about how much currency a country holds, or even how much oil it controls. It becomes about something else, how much reliable electricity it can generate, and how much of that power it can direct toward computation. Under the petrodollar system, the dollar had value because it was the accepted currency for the world's most important resource, oil. Under an emerging energy standard, the question changes. What happens when the world's most important resource can no longer be traded? In the same way, electricity is different from oil, and one difference matters more than any other. It is much harder to transport. You can't load a tanker with electricity and sail it across an ocean. That changes everything. Countries increasingly need to generate their own power, or build entirely new alliances based on shared electricity, not shared currency. Some analysts believe this could weaken the dollar in a way no rival currency ever could, not because another currency replaces it, but because the idea of one global settlement currency becomes less important. The resource itself can no longer be centralized the way oil once was. This is still a theory, not a certainty, but the early signs are difficult to ignore. New energy agreements between countries that have little to do with oil. Sovereign. Wealth funds investing in power infrastructure instead of government bonds. Taken together, they are becoming harder to dismiss as coincidence. The question is no longer who controls the oil. The question is who controls the grid. While most people watch stock markets and interest rate announcements, another conflict has been unfolding, a much quieter one. It isn't about stocks or currencies. It's about transformers, substations, and electrical grid capacity. In 2026, several nations have restricted the export of advanced semiconductor chips, much like OPEC restricted oil exports in 1973. But another restriction is beginning to emerge, and far fewer people are talking about it. Limits on electricity for foreign-owned data centers. Some governments now require AI companies to prove they have secured their own power supply before they can build new facilities. This isn't just bureaucracy. It's a recognition of something much bigger. Whoever controls the power controls the output. The largest technology companies have responded in a remarkable way. Something that would have seemed unthinkable just a decade ago. They are buying nuclear power plants, or signing agreements to restart reactors that have been idle for years. This isn't about green marketing. It's about securing an uninterrupted supply of the one resource their business cannot survive without: electricity. At the same time, countries with abundant renewable energy are attracting new attention. Many were overlooked for decades. Now they are becoming strategic assets. Countries rich in hydroelectric and geothermal power are being courted for massive data center projects, much like oil-producing nations were during the 1970s. The parallels become difficult to ignore. Strategic oil reserves are giving way to strategic grid capacity. Pipeline politics are becoming transmission line politics. This war has no soldiers, and almost no headlines. It is fought in planning offices, in utility negotiations, and in long-term power contracts. But its outcome may decide which nations hold real economic leverage for the next 50 years, just as the last great energy war did. So what happens to the dollar if this theory is correct? The petrodollar system didn't collapse overnight in the 1970s. It forced a slow and painful adjustment. Inflation surged. Then came stagflation. If real economic work is moving from oil extraction to computational power, this transition will probably follow a similar path. Not a sudden collapse. A slow transformation. Many analysts are not predicting the end of the dollar overnight. They are predicting something slower, and perhaps even more disruptive. A gradual shift away from measuring global value through a single currency. In this scenario, nations begin measuring strategic value in a different way. Not by currency reserves, but by energy production and computational capacity. Some early signs are already appearing. Sovereign wealth funds are quietly shifting investments away from traditional government bonds toward power infrastructure, semiconductor manufacturing, and long-term energy projects. For the dollar, this doesn't necessarily mean another currency takes its place. It may mean something the petrodollar system never had to face. Becoming less important in certain transactions. Power sharing agreements could bypass currency exchanges in ways the oil trade never could. If history teaches us anything, the transition is where the greatest disruption happens. The 1970s didn't just redistribute power between nations. They brought inflation, currency instability, and financial shocks that caught millions of people by surprise. The 2026 version of that shock may look very different. It may not begin with an oil embargo. It may begin with a power shortage at a data center that almost nobody outside the industry has ever heard of. If this theory is even partly correct, then most people may be watching the wrong scoreboard. They're watching stock markets, interest rates, and financial headlines, but the real signals may be somewhere else. The people who understood the petrodollar early saw the 1974 agreement for what it really was. They positioned themselves before 5 decades of dollar dominance. The equivalent signal in 2026 may not appear on a financial news channel. It may appear in power grid reports, utility filings, and energy infrastructure projects. Watch which countries are signing long-term power agreements with AI companies. Watch which countries are quietly being left out. Watch who is building new nuclear capacity, not only for climate goals, but for computation. Watch which sovereign wealth funds are investing in power infrastructure instead of government bonds. Watch semiconductor export restrictions, because they are increasingly appearing alongside restrictions on electricity. The official story will probably remain focused on artificial intelligence, on technology companies, and on stock prices. But history suggests the real story is usually happening beneath the surface. In 1973, the headlines were about an oil embargo. The deeper story was about which currency would shape the global economy for the next 50 years. In 2026, the headlines are about chatbots and data centers. The deeper story may be about which countries and which sources of energy will shape the next 50 years. The blueprint has changed before, and it is changing again. This time, it may not be written in oil at all.